Well, it looks like I'm live. I love it when it says you're live because I already know I'm live. Hey, there I am. Hi. Wow, haven't seen me for a while. You know, I don't think I'm as happy when I'm not doing this. But when I do this, it makes me very happy. It's nice. Anyway, I'm sitting here. It's the middle of the night, and I have a candle lit. Because I really wanted a candle lit. But before I could light the candle, I had to clean the whole room because it was a disaster. The coat rack had fallen off the wall, and Maya had lined up all the boots and shoes, which were now kind of in a pile or a clump. Anyway, and so I had to do a lot of things to this room, but now this room is nice and clean, nice and tidy. There's a boot there out of place. Don't know how that ended up over there. Anyway, so I finally sat down and I lit my candle and I was reading my scriptures. Want me to share what I was reading? Um, Thou art merciful, O God, for thou hast heard my prayer, even when I was in the wilderness. Yea, thou wast merciful when I prayed concerning those. Yea, O God, thou wast merciful unto me when I did cry unto thee in my field, when I did cry unto thee in my prayer, and thou didst hear me. And again, O God, when I did turn to my house, thou didst hear me in my prayer. And when I did turn unto my closet, O Lord, and prayed unto thee, thou didst hear me. Yea, thou art merciful unto thy children when they cry unto thee, to be heard of thee and not of men, and thou wilt hear them. That was a nice scripture. When I was reading it, I was thinking, oh wow, this is good. I should be sharing this. Because I was getting this really good feeling as I was reading. And I wanted to share that good feeling. You know, there's something about the written word or the typed word. Isn't that nice? I don't know if you can see it or not. I may have to go back to bed. Anyway, and you know, as I read this, I was being with God, like I was being close to Him and I was talking to Him. These were my words, right? And, oh, there's the raccoon under the house. There's two families under there. They're snoring. They're under my feet. I can't read those words. Should I go and translate them? Anyway, so as I was reading here, yea, O God, and thou wast merciful unto me when I did cry unto thee in my field. You know, and I spent a lot of time outside exploring and wandering and bushwhacking and making paths and just doing stuff. Making teepees and sitting in them and having moot stag and then kayaking in them. And have a big styrofoam block. His name is Wilson. And I think he used to be a target for bow and arrow stuff. And did you hear him? They're right under me. I couldn't figure out what the noise was because the lightest room, there's no room above this room. And the kitchen, like this is 14 feet and that's 15 feet or something like that. Anyway, so here we've got about 30 feet. And then her room is over there on the upstairs. So, like, it's 30 feet away. And I'm hearing all this noise. And I think the raccoons are hibernating. I don't think it's the cats. I don't even know. Oh, is that Russian? Oh. Huh. Well, how in the world will I know the answer to your questions? I don't speak Russian. It's never been something I wanted to do. So I was thinking about these raccoons that live under this room. And I was thinking that when they built this room, I remember that it was just put on. It was cement pads, cement poles, and then I guess there probably were posts. They might not have had to be posts. Anyway, the boards would have been lined up on them. And then the other boards going the other way. And so in between those boards, they filled them with styrofoam. So there's like that much styrofoam under the floor. And then, as if that weren't enough to keep the cold out, there is, all they have to do is just dig under that little bit to get up under into where the styrofoam is. But, I mean, they've obviously done that here. But they've also got these many, many feet of deck on all sides. So not only have they gotten under there, burrowed, and gotten up under there, it's pretty far away from the cold. There's a whole bunch of animals that live under there. There's 7 raccoons last year. I haven't been counting them or watching them. I didn't see something. I hear them groaning down there. It's like they're snoring. I'm just imagining where I am at the corner of the house. Did you hear it? I should put on my hearing aids, then I could probably hear it a lot better. Couldn't figure out what that noise was. So I have my candlelight. I wonder how much light is coming from my candle. I wonder if I turned off that light, if there would be enough light to see with the candle. Let's see. That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Okay. I have to put you so you can be there. Okay. Now, go back here. Hi. Oh, this is much better. How are you? It's nice to see you. It's nice to be here with you in candlelight. Maybe the candle should go a little further away. But if the candle goes further away, then I get darker. But I want to be careful. I don't want to burn anything there. I'm still about 6 inches away from it. See, there's between me and the candle. The candle's way out. You can't see the candle. I have to tip you. There you go. See? Isn't that nice? Nancy today by candlelight. Ah, it's Sounds so nice. My hair is getting long. I like my hair. It's long. It was long for years. I always had long hair. It was much thicker back then. There. Okay. I don't have my hair clips on. Guess I don't need my hair clips on. I look younger without it because you can't see the details of my wrinkles now that I have lost all that weight. But you know, it's really scary because it's creeping back. I've gained back, well, I'm not sure what my weight is or has been. Like, it's gone down to 150. And now it's up to 160, and it seems to have been climbing. It climbed when I was in, well, it went down when I was in Georgia because I was too busy to eat. That was a big job. And then when I came back, I went to Connecticut and we did this memorial. Well, my sister came, that's right. This is after my brother died. He died at the beginning of October. It's not quite certain when he died. People saw him. They said the car was moved on the Thursday. And they called the coroner or the police on Friday. I think it was Friday. And they said he had been dead for 5 days. How is that? Was the person mistaken about the car? Anyway, sorry, we can't go there. Those are uncomfortable things to think about. Because you wonder how you could have helped. And, you know, when I went down there and cleaned, and I thought, you know, we could have come down and cleaned a year ago. Like, we could have helped. He wouldn't let us help. Oh well. So here we are. Oh yes, this is the name of this video is Raccoons Under the Porch, under the house, or the deck. Raccoons under the deck, but they're not under the deck. They're right under the house. I think I can move this way without sacrificing light. I can improve the situation. So who's up? Look, 4 people are up. Oh, you got to do a thumbs up. Or are you on a smart TV? If you're on a smart TV, it's hard to do thumbs ups, don't you find? Life has changed so much. I have this really cool book, and it's called Writing Down the Bones. I have 2 copies, and my daughter's got a copy now. And so I was over there yesterday, and I was reading her copy. And I have to find mine. But it was so interesting because it was talking about, this was just when word processors were just beginning to, oh yes, it's not a thumbs up there, it's a thumbs up at the top. Or is it a like? Whatever. You shouldn't really pay attention to those things because they really don't mean anything. We give them meaning, but they don't mean a lot. And because of the meaning that we give them, I pay attention to that meaning and I give them to other people because I know that it's important to other people. And so I give them to them. But I never really noticed those things. Anyway. It's because I'm such an amazing person. Isn't that what we're thinking in between the lines? Anyway, so it was talking about when you write, you need to have your instruments, your writing notebook and your pen, and what kind of a pen is a really good pen. And You need one that moves quickly because your thoughts are fast and your writing is always going to be slower than your thoughts. But you know, if you say it, it's not slower than your thoughts. Because I speak as fast as I think. Maybe. No, I don't think I do. I speak a lot. A lot, a lot, a lot. But it's good to have this because now I can talk and imagine that I'm being heard and listened to, understand it, and, you know, encouraged. My mother was a great encourager. Boy, she could just encourage me to do anything. She really was a good encourager. I don't think I picked it up. I don't think I'm like her. I want to be. I thought I was, but I don't think I am. Anyway, we find out little bits about ourselves as time goes by, like our subconscious, right? Your subconscious is the part of you, the things that you do that you don't know about yourself, that you don't notice. You know, it's like, well, in other circles, it was like a tell, right? Like a certain person does something before they lie, or before when they're trying to hide their hand at cards or something like that, or they're bluffing. So I guess it's before they lie. Anyway, so those things are our subconscious. I don't know I do them. Some things I know I do because sometimes I get a little, when I do something really bad, when my subconscious comes out with something really bad, and then it's like it shocks everybody and me, and I gotta look at it and say, oh my gosh, where did that come from? Well, that was in my subconscious. And if we don't face what's in our subconscious, now, I think our subconscious is also the garbage bag of stuff. Garbage bag of feelings that we don't want to think about. I'm not going to think about these things or these people. No, I'm not going to go there because it churns up all this bad stuff. But you know, you really haven't gotten rid of it. You kind of need to work through it. You kind of need to, it's like you got all this laundry that's crumpled up in the wash machine, in the dryer, and it's all crumpled up. And it just looks like one big mess, and oh my gosh, that's going to be, every item in there is going to be wrinkled and need to be ironed. Oh, what a terrible big job, I'm not even going to look at it. Or you can pick up one item, and you can shake it out, and one item by itself isn't so bad. You look at it, shake it out, and the shaking it out is somehow when you work through it, when you try and see something from God's perspective, I think that's how you work it out. And so things like my brother dying and my mother and dad dying, those don't bother me because I see those things from God's perspective. And my problems, for the most part, they don't bother me so much because I see them from God's perspective. But the ones that I don't see from God's perspective, that's the ones that trip me up. See, that's the stuff that in my garbage bag, all that's the stuff I don't see from God's perspective. What's in there? What have I stuffed in there? I'm into house cleaning lately. I wonder what de-junking can be done in my subconscious. You like my poncho? It's a blanket with a hole in it. And I can just pull the back and wrap it around the front. And pull the other back and wrap it around the front. And I can even pin them closed with the big safety pin that's on my sock. Why is the safety pin on my sock, you ask? Because keep your eyes on the safety pin. You are getting very sleepy. Very sleepy. Okay. You're not really I don't want to put you to sleep like that. But I do have a friend, Wendy, in Maine. Hi, Wendy, if you're sleeping. She puts this Nancy Today stuff on and then she goes to sleep. She just lets it talk. And she just loves it. I think her family just tolerates it, but she just loves it. It's kind of neat. There, now I got my arms inside and my elbows are out into what's become the little sleeves. Hey, wait, there's cold air in there. Okay, there we go. I've been having to get into winter. I guess it happened to a whole lot of people, right? It makes me feel better about it when I realize that it's happened to like a quarter of North America. So that doesn't feel so bad. But otherwise, when the snow came, it was like, well, it's gonna melt. Like, it always snows and then melts. But this time, it wasn't gonna do that. It's really hard to scratch your back. My arms are not that good. I noticed when I was weaving and the shuttle, I was going way up to the side. My arms don't like doing that anymore. Well, so what are we going to do about that? Are we just going to let them have their way? No. This is my body. I live here. You aren't making my body any smaller, any less able to do things. It's my house. Mess up my arms, it's like, those are big rooms in my house. I use those rooms a lot. My hips, those were incredibly big rooms. And when they stopped working, my house, it got smaller and smaller. I mean, I was huge, but my house was small. I liked my body. I like living in it. I like it a lot better now that it's not so big. I really didn't like to touch my stomach. I didn't like to feel my hand on my stomach because there was so much fat between my hand and my internal organs or my muscles or something, whatever's inside the next place. And I just didn't like the feel of it. But it's okay now. Now I don't mind. But it does bother me that my weight has been creeping up. And I think that has to do with winter because here I am inside. Suddenly I can't go outside. I can, but I gotta let my body get ready for the shock of winter is something for your body, and it doesn't need to get used to the whole thing immediately. It can warm up to it, But I did go for a couple walks. I didn't go for very far walks because I was afraid. I was afraid that I was going to be, I don't know, that I might not feel good and I might be far away and have to come all the way back and not want to, so I just didn't want to go far. What's with that? But I have been very, very under the weather. I have to remind myself that. I have to remember that going to Georgia and working really, really hard for a week and then driving home and then working hard for a couple days and then going for long walks with my sister and then going back to Connecticut with all the photos and the memorial service in my head or whatever, having done those things, and then being there and all that memorial service and then driving home. And so when I got home for a little while, a week or so, we went to the temple and then hey wait, what do you mean low power mode? We gotta touch that thing there. Anyway, and so then I got sick. I got an abscess. I was eating grapes and I had a cracked tooth. And my cracked tooth hadn't bothered me at all and I had forgotten about it. Anyway, you only think about the things, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? The squeaky door hinge gets the oil. Did you know that if you've got a squeaky door hinge, all you have to do is put a few drops of oil on it? You can use cooking oil. I've never noticed that it goes rancid and smells or anything. I mean, you put it on and then you wipe it off. Put it on, open the door and close it, and then wipe it off. Anyway, how did I get on that? So the squeaky wheel gets the grease. That's the way it is with everything, isn't it? With our bodies. And as soon as you fix one problem, the next problem shows up. Like I had really bad hips, and I got 2 new hips. And then, hi, yes, I'm up. I've been up for a while. I've been talking here, and now you're up. Must be that time of night, the 3 o'clock reset. I think all of our bodies eliminate toxins at about 3 a.m. And so everybody gets up. Hi, Julian. So I'm just sitting here with the candlelight, and these raccoons are under the house, and they're making these noises. They're smiling. No, they are snoring. They're making these snoring noises. Or, you know how when you roll over, mumble and moan or whatever. It's only 11:30 a.m. So which day? Is that tomorrow? Guess it would be. Well, I can't see them. They're under the house. They're under this room I'm in. And there's this deck which extends, I don't know, what is that, 15 feet that direction and 10 feet that direction, and another 12 or so feet that direction. And that's all surrounding this room, which is built, it's not got a foundation, it's got blocks or poles. What are those things called? Sonotubes. Anyway, and so the raccoons they go under the deck, all of them. There's just this whole parade of animals that go under the deck. There's 7 raccoons that I counted last year. And this summer I've just been too busy and haven't been really noticing. But there didn't seem to be many. They're not pillars, they're sonotubes. They're like these big cardboard tubes that you fill with cement. And that's what people build, that's when you can't put a foundation in, you put those in and they've got to go 4 feet deep, and then that helps you. Anyway, so the raccoons are under there, and the cats are under there. I'm letting nature just let itself take care of itself. I'm not befriending any specific species out there. And so the cats that live out there fend for themselves. And they showed up, and they had young, and they're out there, and so they take care of themselves. And there's also fishers. So just like the deer don't overpopulate because there's coyotes, there's a lot of coyotes out there, and wolves, and foxes. And I found otter tracks. I think it was otters. Yes, they were otter tracks, and there was a slide down to my sister's pond. Hold on. What did you just say? My sister was here. No, we were in Connecticut at the memorial. And then when it was all over, she flew home and to San Francisco. And they had turned off the power the day before. And I was watching these fires, and I was quite concerned. I thought an hour away is not very far. It was from the Santa Rosa fire or something. So you don't get raccoons or fires. Must be raccoons, because the other thing you do get is birds. I haven't had as many birds as I would like. Let's see if I lean back and relax. You can't see me. thought maybe if I bring you with me, I sit back and relax. No, you still can't see me. If I bring the candle over, and so here's you, and there's the candle. There's my double chin. I guess I must be slouched right up here. It's not the perfect chair. No, you don't get raccoons. Hold on. In fact, I've never even seen one. Really? Huh. I know when you go different places, there's different animals. I wonder what people have been saying here. I haven't read all these things. Wow, look at all this. There's a whole bunch of stuff in Russian at one point. I don't speak English, he says. He types perfectly. Morning, Nancy. You're up? Up? Yeah, hi. Geez, only 11:30 a.m. here. Must be so cute. No, it's the 15th. What's the 15th? The date? There are so many animals here. Okay, so I saw this one. Yeah, I'm glad she was safe. Okay, I'll sit back up here because it's better for everything. You can lean there, and I'll be right here. Hello, hello. When all the words disappear, it's like suddenly I'm alone. Oh, nobody's here. I know you're not in San Francisco. I thought you were there. One day I'm coming to California. One day. Okay, goodbye, Julian. Hi, six pack. What does that mean? Does that mean you're in the UK? I'm okay. What are people over there? Well, I can't ask that on here. But anyway, I haven't heard these raccoons for a few minutes. I think they're sleeping. It's very interesting because I was in here and was working, and I kept hearing different noises, and then I heard this scurrying, and I turned on the light, and there was nothing outside, nothing on the deck, but I think I could hear the scurrying under the deck. I think that, how could I feel that? How could I hear that? What am I hearing it against? If they're under the deck, they're on the ground. Maybe the ground is frozen? Is the ground frozen enough that it would reverberate like that? I thought that the sound was from on the deck because it was the sound of the raccoons running, chasing each other. So there's snow. There was snow, about 6 inches on the deck. I just shoveled or plowed it off today. Snow blue. Thank you, Mom. My mother's legacy lives on. It was great to have a mom. She was a most amazing mom. She was so nice. She was so kind and helpful. She was very empathetic. She really felt your feelings. I wonder if she was a sensitive. I don't think so. I have 2 daughters that are sensitives. Am I a sensitive? Yeah, I wanted to go back through those videos, and I will one day, I guess. The here and now and moving on is always so much more important than looking back. Do you know something I realized? I don't know if I should have a Hints from Nancy book, but when you put stuff away, like you're gonna store all these papers or pictures, or you're gonna put stuff in a bin and you're gonna put it away because you don't need it for a while. And you know, the next time you're going to look at that stuff, either when you're searching for something, but that's very rare in my life, the next time you're going to be looking through it is when you're thinking about clearing it away and throwing it away. And then you'll go through it and you'll have all these memories, and you put all these papers in one pile to keep, another pile that things that you must think about and do something with, and then another pile to throw away. And your pile to throw away is very small. It's because you've already done this. And so then you put everything back and away you go. Maybe your box is a little smaller. And then the next time you look in that box is going to be when you decide if you want to keep it or not. When you're dejunking. Those are the times that you're going to have these memories. And so, in a way, when you're going to dejunk, you should look at dejunking as a memory lane time, you know? Like if you're going to go through boxes, you have to remember and look forward to that you're going to not just be quickly, you know, a rubber tip on your finger sorting through pages. You're not going to do that. You're going to go through them and you're going to read them and you're going to sort them again. And you're going to decide, no, I got to keep this. Oh, I remember that. And these are going to be your memories. And, we take photos so that we can have memories. And yet we don't really look at them. So we don't really go into our memories too much. I'm putting photos on the walls now. The children are really enjoying it. They look at all these pictures. Yeah, memory lane. And more of us are getting older. Well, not more of us than have been getting older before. Just more of us are getting older than are not. You're older. It's later than you. No, you're older than you've ever been, and now you're even older, and now you're even older, and now you're even older. You're older than you've ever been, and now you're even older, and now you're older still. Time is marching on, and time is still marching on. This song will soon be at an end, and now it's even sooner, and now it's even sooner, and now it's even sooner. This song will soon be at an end, and now it's even sooner, and now it's sooner still. Anyway, that's the end of the song. Now I have to go back to thinking about something else. I like that song. It was written by We Must Be Giants. It's a really cool song. I think they had another really cool song. Look them up. They do it with cymbals and clocks, and it's a lot of beat. It's very interesting. And watches. Somebody just said something and I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking. Isn't this fun? This is like having a fireside. Firesides with Nancy. Isn't that fun? I can't believe this. It was so interesting to hear those raccoons. So I thought, I'm going to make a video. Did you hear that? I think that's the wind. Can you hear the chimes outside? I love the chimes. Must be the wind because the chimes are blowing. The chimes are ringing. White coral bells upon a slender stalk. Lily of the valley, deck my garden walk. Oh, don't you wish that you could hear them ring? That will happen only when the my chimes ring when the wind blows. I like having chimes. You know, I went a long time looking for chimes. Like, there was a set of chimes, I guess, that my grandmother had. It's very high-pitched. And it was just, each ring would just take my mind away. It just went with the wind. And I loved that sound. And I would hear other chimes that were deep and hollow or clunky or different tones. They weren't that tone. They weren't really high like that. And then when I found these, my sister bought them for me for Christmas one year. Isn't that nice? It was really sweet of her. They're very expensive. Anyway, and then as time has gone on, I have ended up with more chimes. When Mary and I were touring the Gulf Coast together, and there was this island on the coast of Florida somewhere, and there was a bridge. You could drive to this island. It's just straight south on the west side of Florida. Anyway, I don't remember what the town was or the river. And we met this man, and he had a stingray on the bridge, and he was fishing, and he had other things he had caught. And I made a video of it. I made all that entire trip as videos. In fact, if you type in Nancy Today Gulf Coast trip, I bet you'll come up with all of the videos. I would like to think that you would. I used to have my videos labeled very carefully, so like there was soap, like you could go to parenthesis soap 1, close parenthesis, and all the way up to like 350. And there was dump videos, and they were like 250 of them or something. Anyway, but I used to number the videos. So anyway, that's the Gulf Coast trip. And I don't know how I get distracted so quickly. It's first light. It's breaking dawn. Or breaking light. Oh, did you hear him? Yes, I went with Mary. And she was very interested in these fishermen on the bridge. And I was seeing if that, oh, I gotta finish my story, darn. Okay, so I'm on this bridge, and on the other side of the bridge on this island is a gift shop, like all these little gift shop places. And in one of them they had bamboo chimes. And there was a turtle. And the head flopped and the tail flopped. And so I bought those chimes and I hung them up in the car, in the back of the car. Every time I go around the corner or go over a bump, the chimes would, and everybody would say, "Oh, that would just drive me crazy. How can you stand that?" And I just felt so connected to the bamboo and to the island, to the earth. And it's nice. I just liked it. When you're out in a bamboo forest, have you ever stood in a bamboo forest? I guess that's not something everybody gets to do. I stood in a bamboo forest once in Jamaica, and the bamboo were like that big around. We used them to cut up and rebuild our, we had a grass hut. I was 17 and I lived with these Rasta people. In another life, in another world, a different time. And yet, it's all the same. It's all now. It's all, my memory is right there, just as if it's happening now. I've got the memory. It's interesting. But I have to experience them before I have the memories. once I have the memories, I can just have them anytime. But I can't have them anytime until I've got the memories. So I have to have all the experiences first. Hey, have you ever thought about your stories that you tell? Like, you know how old people, when they get old, they start telling stories. Thanks, Marie. Um, when people get old, they tell the same story over and over. Like my mother, she would tell the story about, well, you might have heard the stories. She would tell the story about how Blackie, this was in Connecticut, in a day when that's what he was called. Everybody called him Blackie. And there were a couple farmhands. He was one of them. And Jane, my mom, she would drive the tractor, and she was just a young girl. She hadn't gone to university yet, so she was pretty young. And I wonder how much my movement affects the raccoons under the deck. It's really nice in here when the curtains are closed in the dark. But you know what's nice is to turn the light on outside. Then I can have all that snow in the picture. So pretty. I love snow. I just love it. So nice. Been snowed in here with my cold and my abscessed tooth for a week. In Canada, my sister said that in the United States, they don't give you an antibiotic. She said that, like, I've had many root canals, and you get a bad tooth, or you get a pain in your tooth, you go to the doctor, and perhaps you get a filling. Maybe it's some small thing. But if it's a big pain, like you've got a really huge toothache, then you need an antibiotic, because the Novocaine is not going to work unless you get all of that I lost it. No, I really lost it. It's gone. What were we talking about? I think I might turn on the light outside so that you can see the pretty snow. Come on, light, turn on. Don't turn on. It's one of these dawn to dusk, or not dawn to dusk, it's these motion censored lights. My candle is getting lower. Oh, it's got a very quick, oh, look at the flame. I'm gonna have to redo my clothing. Put my arms out of here. Okay, now I'm gonna see if I can show you this candle. You can't really see it because it's too bright. If I touch it. It's really interesting to look at it from this side. It's kind of got a dent in it. It's like there's this big flat part on the wick. I made this candle. Do you remember those videos? I had this, it was from some company called Benson. And it was their beehives. Box full of these wax things that go in a beehive. Flat trays, what would you call them? They're what the bees are going to use to build their honeycomb on, I guess. Anyway, I rolled them up. I put a wick against them and then I rolled them up. That was a really big ball. It's like a clover on there. It's very interesting. If I blow the flame out of the way, you can't really see it either, then can you? Very interesting how it's got a flat thing. I remember what I was talking about. I was talking about memories, and that when you're you got to be careful what things you start repeating, because those things that you repeat all the time are going to be the easy things that you're going to repeat when you get really old and you can only have a couple memories. So you need to think of other stories to tell while you still can. Think of, when you have a memory, think of other memories on other topics. Whatever it is you're doing, just remember your memories. And there's so much stuff our kids don't know. I always think they don't care. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. This light is not as bright as it used to be. But it's far more interesting now. See how the wax melts? They say that to do a candle, hey, there's a video on this too. If you gotta push the sides down. So that it will burn evenly. If you let it create a hole and burn into a hole, then it ruins the candle. I mean, you have to remelt it or something, but it doesn't work very well. So you have to, that's how you keep a big candle, like a huge candle sometimes. You get these big ones, whatever size. Anyway, if it gets a puddle in the middle, it'll just put it out. Or if it gets a hole in the middle, it won't work as well. At all. You know, that thing could fall off. And if it fell off, what would happen? Would it roll beyond the place where it's supposed to be? We should probably put this whole thing on a table. It's on a table. I should put it on something non-flammable. Inflammable? I don't know what to use. Whatever. Yeah, anyway, so my mother, oh, that's another story I started to tell you. So have I finished telling you anything that I started telling you tonight? Unbelievable. So when Jane, my mom, when Jane would be the one driving the tractor, she would put the clutch in and let it out fast and knock everybody off their feet. And they'd be on the wagon and they'd be loading the hay, and she'd do things like pull ahead and make everybody fall down or stop really sudden. And they would say, "Jane's not driving today, is she?" My mother. My wonderful, sweet mother. I like when you read the Book of Mormon. I'm sorry about your brother. Wait a minute. I hope you're well and you're a bright light on YouTube. Hey, thanks. Lizelle Ukasan, there's your shout out. Antibiotics. That's what I was talking about. She told me. Yeah, my mom had a lot of things to talk about. She had a lot to say. Okay, so you were talking antibiotics. That's what it was. Yeah, so you get antibiotics, and then you don't have. Then it gets rid of all the infection in your teeth, and gets rid of your pain, and then you go to the dentist, and then he can fill you with Novocaine, and it doesn't hurt anymore, and you can get a root canal. no wonder. I couldn't figure out why people hated root canals. I mean, what are they doing? Going and not having antibiotics and having them go and work on your tooth that won't hold the oh my gosh. Why don't they think that? Yeah, I think it's buffering. I hear this banging. That's the heater. Yeah, it is buffering a bit. Maybe we've been talking too long. I wonder how long you're allowed to talk on these things. Hmm. Well, maybe I should go. Oh, look at you. Oh, so these cats. So we have these cats that showed up, and we have fishers which pick off cats, and we have birds that the cats pick off, and the squirrels that the cats pick off, and the squirrels that the fishers pick off. And then we've got the fishers kill everything else. Kill a bear. Junk for the jugular vein. They're just horrible animals. They're the most dangerous creature out there. I'm not going to support the cats or the birds. Love the birds. Can't let the cats go out there and kill off all the birds. So, and as I have been told, oh, is this bending? It's moving. It's gonna fall. Here it goes.